I don't even see it as a big deal to not attack with a Fiery War Axe, as, uh, again, if you're going to get Harrison, he's going to have to innervate it out. It's not too big of a deal. Goes the armor up instead, though. I guess that is perhaps to pad the shield slam.
Yeah, and also give him coin flexibility in the following turns. But innervate Adradrachus into Adradrachus, fine. You might look at like, oh, I'm floating a mana crystal, but you want to get onto the
Much
board
better
very
than doing
quickly.
nothing. Yeah.
Well, is this a shield slam? Armor up shield slam is 3 mana and removal. Your opponent innervated an Azure Drake, which makes you believe that he has another 5 mana minion.
It does, or just nothing at all. But it does seem more likely than having like a 7-mana minion. I feel it'd be a bad idea to play a minion, though, because the main way that you do innervate out a 5-drop is if you have a bunch of like Wraths and Swipes and those kinds of cards. Like, that's what you have to put your opponent on.
Okay. I like it. Shield Slam. Just really eliminate this threat immediately. Druid can refill its hand a little bit too. Ooh, interesting.
There's a Druid of the Claw, but I think I would prefer to see the Azure Drake. The Druid of the Claw doesn't actually accomplish anything over the Azure Drake.
Yeah, but Azure Drake is more vulnerable, again, to stuff. And it also has value as the turns go on. Because you can, like, say if you don't have anything on 7, you can Azure Drake and Wrath. Versus Druid of the Claw, it gets really... It's like the strongest it is right now. And then late game, you still have charged abilities, too. I mean, that's also another concern. Like, do you charge Druid of the Claw, or do you play in Taunt?
I think if you're going to charge the Druid of the Claw, you might as well play an Azure Drake.
What to do?
Thing is, Drake can still die to, like, Cool Taskmaster and Fiery War Axe, or some combination thereof. I guess it is more resilient to things like Blackwing Corruptor and Bash, though. So.
For no one.
It feels like there's a lot of debate. You can go back and forth on it a lot.
Well, we're certainly
What I
right about
do-
that.
What I do like about Azure Drake, though, is that it gets out ahead of the board if you want to use Swipe next turn. So if you anticipate a 5 health minion, or a 6 health minion in the case of the Twilight Guardian, it might be relevant. But I do like the Druid of the Claw play.
Now, this is another decision here. He could play the Fiery War Axe and the Alistraz's champion and lead into Blackwing Corruptor with the Fiery War Axe next turn. And that'll definitely put you in a winning position at the end of next turn. If you do play the Twilight Guardian, I feel that's a bit more vulnerable. Like, with what you've seen from the Druid player, you'd have to assume that 2 damage is coming and something bad is happening to your Twilight Guardian.
I like it. I like setting up the weapon this turn. Blackwing Corruptor gets much stronger the following turn. The Twilight Guardian can get bullied pretty easily, and then you're stuck with like a 4/4 minion, and you're back at square one where it's just like you don't have the optimal removals.
Mm-hmm.
So I like Alex Raja's charge. Twilight Guardian it is. Lifecoach sees the line, which he optimized it. The advantage of this is if this doesn't go down very easily, then you can benefit off the Blackwing Corruptor or your weapons. And maybe he doesn't want to take damage. I mean, one of the things to really consider is you just don't really want to leave the board for your opponent to develop stuff and take too much damage.
Mm-hmm. Well, the best way to deal with it is actually with the Azure Drake Wrath for 2. So I think the best play is actually to Azure Drake and to set up a better swipe or swipe plus Wrath next turn.
Yeah, but you're floating a mana that way. Force of Nature just to get past.
Whoa.
So he's like really invested.
Really next level play. We're getting all of them wrong right now.
Well, I mean, these guys are really invested into like analyzing the matchup. So what Ostkaka is doing is identifying that this minion, he's saying Lifecoach couldn't remove it easily. He had 4 armor, so if he had Shield Slam, it was very convenient. And I don't really need this Force of Nature to win. I need strong building board pressure. He also wants to keep his minions as healthy as possible because he knows 3 health is like a magic number on turn 5.
Yeah.
Not just for Blackwing Corruptor, but Bash. So I like a lot of what he's thinking because this Druid Claw is still problematic. However, Lifecoach does have a way to remove it. He just chose not to.
Hmm.
So is he going to kill it now, or is he going to once again try to, be a little bit greedier with it and develop something else instead?
I feel this turn is even harder of a decision. Like the last turn, both the options were pretty good. I feel this turn, all your options are pretty horrible.
What now?
Oh man, Azure Drake disables the Dragon Synergy for Lifecoach, and that is a pretty big punish.
Yeah, that's a huge Wrath play now.
Yeah, Wrath or Swipe. I mean, it depends on what you really want to do. The Azure Drake gives you the ability to draw.
Yeah.
Mana Raptor is slightly stickier, but this is really big.
Okay, and this incremental advantage is really mounting up here. Now with Lifecoach on no Dragon Draw, I feel like he's actually in a terrible spot.
Yeah, his hand now does a lot of nothing. Like the Alexstrasza's charge is nothing more than a 2/3, like a River Crocodile status. His Blackwing Corruptor is no more than a Lost Tall Strider. It's just
Yeah,
a series of
with,
vanilla minions.
with the play from last turn, he might be committing himself to a Justicar Trueheart, but that's horrible.
I was thinking maybe Lifecoach might have overlooked the fact that he was going to lose Dragon Synergy by playing the Azure Drake.
Mm-hmm.
Because
or maybe he was willing to wager that fact.
Yeah, of like drawing another dragon, but you only have 2 draws to do it. Oh man. And it's because he's held on to this for so long, he might have given up his ability to win back the board and consequently the game.
I think
Maybe
he just targeted...
Maybe the Force of Nature really mind gamed Lifecoach. Oh my god.
Yeah, I think he targeted the Druid of the Claw with the Blackwing Corruptor, thinking that he had a dragon in hand.
But you can't even target if you don't have a dragon. It just plops down.
Yep. Yep. But I'm pretty sure that's what's going on right now. Yes.
Yeah.
Yes.
For all the next level minded for all the next level mind games and reads, there's also another mistake that balances it out. And right now, Lifecoach looking pretty frustrated at not only himself but just kind of what happened here because I think if understanding what he had, his line of play, if he had another dragon, maybe there was an option to use it because I think he was going to coin Fiery War Axe.
Yeah, that was definitely the play he was investing in.
Or Alexstrasza's charge. Either way, it didn't really matter. Ostkaka's kind of baffled too. He's like, well, guess I'm just going to swipe and pressure here.
Yep. Seems good.
Oh man, you don't even really want to. I mean, you don't want to lose ever, but you don't want to lose like this, Crip.
It's a dragon.
It's a dragon.
Too late.
Oh. Double Alexstrasza's charge. Fiery War Axe. Just no good.
There's nothing here.
You can Fiery War, you can play. Oh no, you can't. You don't have enough mana. You only have 8 mana. I was gonna think you play Fiery War Axe, Alexstrasza's charge with Brand Bronzebeard, and then
Get that 4.
Yeah, but it's just.
Oh man, I was thinking that too. I think we've been like mesmerized by that.
Yeah.
Never forget this.
So no threat of Force Nature Savage War, but you've got the next best thing, which is the Ancient of Lore to grab more fuel and to place that heavy 5/5. Is Ostkaka evaluating something else though? Pretty sure you
Well,
want.
he's really played with trying to keep his minions as healthy as possible. So I think maybe he was evaluating whether it's worth it to kill the monkey with the living roots and hero power.
Mm, yeah, it's a possibility as well. I mean,
Now I
I
think
say
he's
you kind of
evaluating
go
if he wants
for
to
it.
keep the 4 health healthy. And that turns
Well,
out to be a very good decision with that RNG on the random 1-drop.
well, the Alexstrasza's charge is still pretty helpful here to remove, but we know that in the grand scheme of things, there's nothing really to stop the Ragnaros from having full impact. So, Life Coach, just gonna try to think things through, but I think this one's just wrapped up. I don't think any
Yeah,
Azure
it is.
can change it.
No, it won't. He has the option to Fiery War Axe the 1/3, and then Bran Elistra's champion, kill the 4, and then
Yeah.
armor up, and that puts you on 10, which you're still dead to just swipe.
Right. Any kind
Oh,
of
9.
4
It puts you on
damage
9.
source plus hero power would be it. But, to do his due diligence, he's going to try to see it out. We've seen pretty crazy comebacks before, Chris.
Yeah, yeah, absolutely.
But this one requires one of the craziest you'll see.
Mm-hmm.
So game 1 in the books. How does he choose to do it? He can do it with swipe. He can do it with rag.
No, you don't do it with rag. I think if you have rag in one deck, there might be some chance you have rag in more than one deck.
Yeah, that's a good point. You could give information to your opponent that is definitely unnecessary when you could have hidden that. Swipes in almost every druid deck, if not every deck.
Well, we did see a druid opener once again, and Ostkaka takes the game with it once again. Not too much of a surprise there, but the other decks are definitely far less consistent. And with Lifecoach having such a heavy control presence in all of his decks, really, it might be a bit of a struggle for Ostkaka to seal this one up as well.
Yeah, well, we'll see. The rogue is the interesting X factor here. How does it relate to the warrior? We've been talking about it. Warrior without Death Spite loses some tools, but I don't know, man. Life Coach seems pretty tilted. He took his glasses off and he seems very stressed right now. And Ostkaka, of course, feeling pretty good about that game. He didn't really make any mistakes. Just playing very straightforward and to his biggest win conditions.
All right, Rogue versus Warrior. We'll get to see how this game will work. I do feel like it'll be very, very close. But the Warrior does have a great opener, so I'm maybe leaning towards the Warrior, actually.
Fire War Axe is pretty much as good as it gets early on for Rogue. Rogue has an abundance of 3/3 minions or things that you can pair with 3 damage to kill things. Most notably in the Farseer and the SI. So, very good.
Whoa, that hand is bad. Oh my god. How do you even draw that badly?
Well, it's okay. Just pick up Gadget Sand in the next 5 turns.
This,
He
doesn't
has
look
dark-
like the hand of a world champion.
He has a chance of the Tomb Pillager getting a coin, followed by getting a Gadget Sand.
Yeah?
He does. Look, it's not a great hand at all, but there is that chance. Don't doubt it.
I'm quite a fan of Lifecoach's hand here. He's got the Shield Slam for the first big threat. He's got the Armor Smith Cruel Task combo. He's got the Fiery War Axe for defense. And the first time we get a dragon, we get that Blackened Corruptor. And hopefully they'll have a battle cry this time.
Yeah, hopefully it will. But let's not get ahead of ourselves, Crip. He has to first draw a dragon, before anything else. Which is how it works, guys. It's not if you have a dragon in your deck. It's if you're holding a dragon.
Oh my god.
Well, okay. Let's also be real here. You're not really doing anything on turns 1 or 2 as rogue, so
No.
Still, it's still okay. If he picks up a single 3-drop, I would say his hand's actually okay.
Yeah, you're right, but it is amazing on how bad that hand is right now.
Yeah. Well, it's comical because the effect of the Tomb Pillager gives you more coins, which is like small preps, you know.
Armor.
Prep coin, that's a good play.
Yep. Okay, it's something to do instead of redagger. I would
I'm
go for the
thinking
card cycle.
Redagger might be better.
Think so?
Yeah.
I kind of want to dig deeper in my deck for stuff. Shiv's
Yeah, but
not a high impact spell.
Right, but nothing you do this turn is high impact. So Shiv might just be somewhat useful later on. You have your next few turns kind of planned out, so.
Next turn, you Tomb Pillager. The following turn, you Tomb Pillager again. I like Shiv, just because again, it's like I can understand if it was some other spell that has a lot of impact on the board, but Shiv is just 1 damage.
Yeah.
So, you know, it's not like something you usually want to prep out. Prep Fan, prep Eviscerate. You know, there's a lot of options that you have with other spells that can really give you impact onto the board. Okay, what do you feel about playing Cruel Taskmaster and getting a little aggressive? Is that too much, or would you just armor up pass, or even equip a weapon here?
I like it. I like the Cruel Task action.
The reason why is because you load up reasonable power to challenge whatever comes out next.
Mm-hmm.
But you can also still do the same thing next turn. What I do like about playing the Fiery War Axe is that you set up a coin Blackwing Corruptor the following turn, but I do like the Cruel Taskmaster.
I just think that the 3/3 buffed Armorsmith is actually a ridiculously big threat.
Yeah, for sure. It's super overstated. It gives you a lot of power into trades.
Thank you.
Tomb Pillager comes down. Blackwing Corruptor, or even the Fiery War Axe. All viable options here. Shield. What about shield block, shield slam? Is that too like defensive or too slow? Would you rather just get the Blackwing Corruptor out?
I'm thinking so.
It does get you deeper into the deck, so you can get another dragon to play Twilight Guardian. I don't know.
You might get enough armor just from the board to do a Guardian Shield Slam play next turn.
Yeah, that's also a possibility as well. On 5 mana, your opponent usually is like playing Azure Drake, so if you do that, your Blackwing Corruptor in the worst case scenario gets Azure Drake backstab and the hero power Rogue Dagger used to clear it. But you can rebound from that because you have an ability to remove that Drake pretty easily.
Oh god, still nothing.
I mean, Phantom Knives with the Thanos still is something.
It does draw you 2 cards, which is you know, reasonably close to maybe getting an Auctioneer. And getting an Auctioneer next turn would be incredible.
If he's gonna go for the I'm in on the Auctioneer play, just why not the Tomb Pillager? Just go all out.
Because the Tomb Pillager doesn't draw you any cards, and you want the Auctioneer next turn. So if you play the I guess not. But if you play the Thalnos and the Fan of Knives, you draw 3 cards. You draw 3 cards in order to actually increase your chances of getting the Auctioneer.
It does, but I think the Tomb Pillager stats are just better for fighting back on board.
Besides Shield Slam for sure here.
How much is it? It's
you Shield Slam and then 11 face. Threatens lethal, actually.
Threatens lethal?
Yeah. I mean, Alstraza's champion plus the existing board that pushes for 11. Puts them on 13, and then you have Bash and Fiery War Axe next turn.
Oh, the Bash, you're right. Oh my goodness. That's pretty funny. Fireworks, so it's 8, 11, 13. Yeah, I like that. Life Coach going to take it a little bit slower. One more time, doesn't want to overextend. But if there's anything that we've learned in this format, it's that being aggressive really forces your opponent in an awkward spot because they don't have Sludge Belcher, they don't have Healbot, and both those cards are used defensively, and Rogue sometimes has 5-drop minions.
Oh!
Whoa! Did I tell
Whoa!
you to believe, Crip?
Damn, well that is
14
believing.
mana available this turn. 5, 8. Wait. Oh, man. He's just going off. Just completely autopilot, just like going super quick, not even really thinking about it, because he knows that he can run out of time.
Yeah,
So he
you have
goes
to
for
sack
the
the Armor
option
Smith.
of coin conceal, coin prep to get the most mana possible. Backstab's not bad. Another draw. And he can go for the prep fan to draw even more. Oh my goodness. He's drawing his entire deck. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7,
Yeah,
8,
it's gonna work.
9
It's
cards drawn this turn. 10 if you count the Gadget's End itself.
I think I really like the fan here. I think he's maybe considering a sap. But, you got to sap a taunt for the lethal turn. Oh, Van Cleef. Not today.
Just a little bit too late. Oh man.
But that's not a lot of damage in hand. There's no way he's doing like 35 next turn. There's zero chance of that. Actually, the Warriors is probably going to win this game.
3. You can do
There's
9
no-
next turn.
Yeah, it's not even close.
What now?
You mean the Rogue?
Yeah, the Rogue's not even close to lethal.
Yeah, but the Warrior isn't either because the Farseers.
Yeah, well, that's kind of true. Still
Like
has
the
a lot of
Warrior
damage, though.
can only do 9 at one point, and this is where Life Coach got, a little bit punished for not setting up that lethal.
Yeah. He could have put him on 8, and then if his opponent was at 8, he could have put him on 2 this turn, and I think he would have won 100%. But I still think the Warrior, if you play aggressively, still has a good chance here.
Well, he's running out of time. What are you gonna do, Life Coach? He's gonna play Armor Smith, get to work with the weapon. I mean, one
Base.
weapon is
Alstron's
basically
champion. No.
He has enough mana to do Alexstras's champion next turn.
Right, but it misses an attack here, doesn't it?
I guess you're anticipating it dying either way because of the Gadget's Gen and like Blade Flurries and stuff.
Yeah.
A
Okay.
lot of minions. 7 minions out of 10 cards. Some miracle deck, huh?
So
You can't even open up with Shiv, by the way. Can't do that. You have to open up with a minion. So I guess you might as well play Farseer and concede that you will not be winning this turn. You'll have to set up a 2-turn lethal.
He has another Conceal in the deck, I believe.
Yeah.
I don't mind sapping. Yeah, I don't mind sapping to draw and start things off. Definitely want a Farseer. Wow, what a waste. Does that mean you Shiv? Oh my goodness. Just gonna dagger up.
Shiv is not good either. I think you have to dagger up. Or, yeah, Blood Mage.
Yeah, this is fine too. Just gotta get it out there. Warrior has 9 damage right now.
No.
Just not enough. Like, hypothetically, if you could just put all that damage into one package, it'd be great. So then what do you do now?
What
There's
now?
8, 9, 12 on the board. 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. Plus the Blade Flurry is 22. So it's still not dead. 23 even.
Yeah, but I'm sure he has another blade. He has another deadly poison in the deck, and I think he's played 0 eviscerates. So I think if the Gadgeon stays alive, the Warrior's definitely dead.
That's
But
a
Lifecoach,
tough call.
Lifecoach obviously assumes that. I think Lifecoach is going to make the correct maneuvers here to kill the auctioneer.
My eyes are open.
It's not.
He's trying to go for a sneaky lethal. He's trying to go for an 8-mana Fiery War Axe, Alexstrasza Charge Bash.
Okay.
Except he's going to get some bad news about the second Farseer. Because your opponent didn't kill a 3/3 minion with a Fiery War Axe. Which is like, I mean, that match percentage for a dating profile, Fiery War Axe and a 3/3 is like 99%. So the fact that he didn't actually kill it is pretty telling that he has like a base plan to win the game. So I would be very surprised if Ostkaka didn't go for a Farseer play.
Oh wow, that's such a bad draw.
Second gadget stand. He has the Cold Bloods. I'm really curious if he has a Charger finisher. We still haven't seen anything like it. But with 2 Conceals and a Cold Blood, maybe he doesn't have it at all. He's just all in on the minion plan. Lifecoach is still so close, but so far. Variant Ren is nothing. Oh my goodness.
Yeah, now he has to kill the auctioneer to stay alive.
The Earthen Ring Farseer crypt. That is
the card that's been carrying like the whole G2 deck arsenal coming back and killing their warrior.
Yeah. Ostkaka bringing the double Farseer, which makes sense, you know, when you cut a Farseer for 5 drops, you cut, you know, the extra spells, but in this case Ostkaka's getting away with playing Gadget Sand Rogue, and he doesn't even necessarily have any blatant super miracle finishers from what it looks like. It's just minions and Gadget Sands. Oh man, that feels really bad. Oh my goodness. And he's gonna have to clear the Gadget Sand, but it's too late. The damage has been done.
I think there's no way that he stays alive.
4,
This
9,
Sleepless has to be
11. I count 14. Oh wait, 16 damage? Does he have enough mana to do that?
Yeah, I
3,
think so.
5, 7, 10 mana. I count 10 mana to do it.
Mm-hmm.
Wait, what if he Drake is 6?
No, it's easy lethal. It's not even 10 minutes.
Don't you need a dagger and oh wow, now you do the second eviscerate.
I think 1 was enough.
Well played.
Okay, well, that wraps it up. To remove any doubt.
Okay. Done game. Man, I really feel if Lifecoach was more of an aggressive player, he would have set up an opportunity to close out that game. I can't really fault his plays too much because, you know, he was expecting the worst. He was just playing super defensively, just in order to survive anything. It did happen that Ostkaka had like 0 burst. He had like every single minion in his entire deck drawn from his Gadson combo. But yeah. Oh well. I guess we'll move on to another game here. Ostkaka is on his final deck, his final point here. These players are playing to advance directly into tomorrow's final.
Yeah, the winner of this goes on to be the 5th player guaranteed, or 6th player, excuse me, guaranteed a spot in the grand finals. Remember, guys, tomorrow we're playing a single elimination bracket all the way through. No deck resubmissions. Leopard Gnome, Totem Golem, 2 pretty good cards. Even Feral Spirit when you're on the coin is okay, because you can Leopard Gnome, Totem Golem, coin Feral Spirits, or if you sense that your opponent's going to play Aspirant, you can coin Totem Golem, play Leopard Gnome, and then Feral Spirits. All of those are very good lines, so I like keeping the right 3 minions for Ostkaka.
Okay, well he's taking his time. These are 2 very, very methodical players.
I wonder what the merit is for having Sir Finley and the timing of it. A lot of times against Druid, you just want to get damage. You don't really care about life tap as much. But we saw that there are some really unique cases of using Finley effectively. Zolay picked Paladin hero power over the Hunter one and Druid one because he wanted to build the board.
Mm-hmm. All right, turn 1 Totem Golem. It's pretty good because it crushes just about everything, but that does not include Violet Teacher.
Actually,
it does. Rock Biter.
Yeah. You were hunting aspirants, and you got a Violet Teacher, but you do have that Rock Biter, like you're saying, so...
You gotta do it. You gotta do it here.
You are so heavily punished by playing something else, because the Wrath gives another 1/1 token, which makes things like the Argent Horse Rider worse, too, and the Leopard Gnome.
All right.
Much needed trade.
Good trade from the Shaman.
Would you hero power this in Conservation of Wrath? Or would
no, this is 3 damage. I think at 3 damage, you start Wrathing. You know, we had the discussion about 2 damage earlier. Oh, what an amazing draw!
Wow, that's perfect. That's the best draw.
Yeah, it is. Here we'll have to Feral Spirits. I mean, there's no way you're dropping 1-drops and that kind of junk against army of 1/1s, especially going into a turn 4 play.
My goodness, some of these draws, like right on time, have a pretty big impact on stuff. You know, like that Gadgetzan Auctioneer right on time, and getting able to squeeze into Living Roots is a pretty big deal. Although right now the Feral Spirits puts a big halt into those plans.
I like the play where you play the Darnassus Aspirant and kill off one of the Feral Spirits.
Yeah, you protect your Darnassus by doing this as well, which, if you play Druid of the Claw next, you might have an opportunity to hit 7 mana very quickly. And I mean, I think you're really starting to see the effects and impacts of not having a Dr. Boom and Druid, because sometimes one of the best ways to catch up is to be super aggressive with like a Dr. Boom, and your aggro can't trade into it.
Draw. It's perfect.
Yeah, Abusive Sergeant. Okay. Do you want to play Leopard Gnome? It's more damage on the board. Or do you want to play Sir Finley Murgleton?
I think there's a case for not actually killing the Aspirant this turn, because there's only 1 minion on 6 mana that you're scared of, and that's Emperor. You're not really enabling much. Actually, I take it back. You would get completely annihilated by a Savage Combatant. Okay, it's time to abuse.
It's true. Savage Combatant is in almost every deck as the first string replacement for Pilot Shredder. I guess I would make it a second string, but Leopard Gnome with the Abusive Sergeant, the most damage onto the board. I agree with it. The Sir Finley is just a good thing to do to fill out your mana. The stats aren't terribly impressive as the game progresses. Where is your swipe, Lifecoach?
I feel this is just going to be a very sad Druid of the Claw.
Yeah, or which just emulates his trainer. I mean, Lifecoach is looking really sad right now. Just kind of like going through all the stuff. But taking a look at the Druid of Claw versus the Azure Drake, Druid of Claw is just more stats onto the board. You can try using Farseer, but I think Farseer is also still good next turn. Versus Druid of the Claw gets very awkward this turn, because you can always use Farseer to like heal your minion or your face, and it gives you more options.
I actually kind of like Farseer a decent amount. It does challenge the board about as much as Druid of the Claw does, but if you taunt in front of an injured minion, you usually get a lot of nice value from that play.
Yeah, that's also a good point.
Regardless, looks pretty good still. Well, mostly for the Shaman.
Yeah, I mean, the Shaman still has a lot of leverage with, like, Sir Finley and Ancestral Knowledge. It might draw damage from sources that's not existent. Oh my god, the 3 worst ones. Well, Dagger Mastery sometimes isn't too bad, because it's like 2 damage for 2 mana, but Oh
Yeah,
man, armor up's
with the
not really
Doom Hammer
useful.
being a consideration, it's
I wonder.
is generally generally a better one. Yeah, those I think those are absolutely the worst three.
Yeah, you'd much rather have life tap, shapeshift, and steady shot. Those are the hunter, the druid, and the warlock ones. And then in the middle tiers are like paladin and shot.
I wonder what the chances are to get the worst three hero powers all at the same time. That's pretty horrible.
Yeah, I don't actually know off the top of my head, but he picks the rogue dagger just so he can get that extra damage as a ping. You know, and it's dangerous because the more you use the rogue hero power, you never know if druid ever flips the tables and just goes ahead and use Force of Nature Savage War to win the game.
All right, well, I did some quick math. I believe it's roughly 17%. You get exactly three.
Wow.
The three worst, that is. Which is not that bad. I thought it'd be much lower than that, but maybe my math sucks.
No, we're just gonna believe you because you're totally like the Rain Man right now.
Hmm.
But either way, that's just unlikely. So
I like
mean-
the
go
I
ahead.
like the play where you conserve Wrath here. Just it gives you another option with the Azure Drake. You can possibly Wrath 2, draw a card, and kill something bigger. I like the Keeper on the taunt and Hero Power on the 2/1.
I must safeguard the land.
Yep.
Taking it just pretty slow. Typical Lifecoach format, or sorry, turn here. And in this format, you really have to just be really cautious of like what the Shaman can do. Doomhammer on 5 mana available. Yeah.
I would
Yeah.
say no. I
You
think
would
it's
say
better.
no?
I think it's better to play the other two cards. You can kill the board and you could draw the cards and you can still be on 5 mana next turn.
But you missed the 4 damage.
Okay, I guess you do miss the 4 damage. Let's go Doomhammer. Yep.
Oh. Okay, well, Ostkaka agrees with you. And it could be one of those things where if you play the... I mean, if you play the Doomhammer right now, he feels like maybe he can't get the damage in with the Arch and Horse Rider, and he wants to get value out of that first before there's like a big minion or like a bunch of small minions to challenge it. Because Doomhammer will still do 4 damage whether now or later.
Yeah.
All possibilities.
Again, not much for options, by the way.
Drake can pick up some options as well. I mean, you can clear board.
Oh, the clear is horrible, though, but yeah.
It is. But I think I do like Azure Drake as well.
I wonder.
We're gonna Wrath
Okay,
for one, try to get a
Wrath.
better option. That is a great option.
That's for next turn. For now, you can probably just use your hero power, right?
I don't know about that.
You want
I
to just
think I
add
would-
Drake instead?
Yeah, I think you would never use your hero power, actually. I think if you didn't play the Azure Drake, you'd heal yourself in Living Roots for 2/1/1s.
I don't think the 2/1/1s are entirely relevant. You don't have Savage Roar, and it might be better to use as removal. But I can see where you're coming from. This is an interesting card. Look at this, Tuskar Jouster. Oh wait, no, sorry, Tuskar Totemic.
What?
Yeah.
to do?
Well, he
Tuskar
does
Joust
kind
is
of
the
joust.
palette card.
It has the similar effect of the joust, where you're very happy or miserable. You know, it's
Yeah.
a polarizing joust effect. So well
It has the
attributed.
Joust of the Innkeeper, and it shows
Yeah.
you the final result.
Hmm.
The
All
Knife
right.
Juggler with the Tuskar Jouster is the dream. Get the Flame Tongue Totem for the ultimate value.
And we get the correct positioning there. We want to put the
Oh.
potential totem, potential flame tongue totem, in the
Right.
right spot beside the one attacker. Well, this is a damn good swipe.
Yeah, really
This
good.
might be the turning point of the game.
5 damage to face, force you to get out of that range, and Ostkaka is punished. I would say Living Roots now definitely should go out here as minions. Unless you're afraid of elemental destruction. I mean, he's been burned once before, Crip.
It is pretty
By
traumatic.
LD.
That card can be so traumatizing, you can never actually play around it.
Yeah.
Wonder.
How do you?
I could not play cards in order to play around this one card.
I mean, it's the same matchup though, so ultimately you understand it. But
Yeah.
yeah. Okay, some damage. Time to Doomhammer and see what you got.
This is
Doomhammer.
absolutely the time to Doomhammer.
So 6 to the face. But Lifecoach has not only taunt, but he also has heal.
Yeah,
It's so far from actually being over. Well, it's actually it's over the other way. Like Druid's gonna kill Shaman way before Shaman's killing Druid.
there is a way to win this game, and that is ancestral knowledge into ancestral knowledge, and get an Earth Shock and 2 Rock Biters.
Yeah.
No, he's already used the Rock Biter, didn't he? He's the Rock Biter to kill a Vile Teacher.
Yep. So if he has 1 Rock Biter and 1 Lightning Bolt.
Well, the minion's never going to stay alive. It'll have to be a Rock Biter, Lava Burst.
But he doesn't have enough mana to do that.
Yeah,
though.
there's not enough mana to do that.
Mm.
Yeah, it looks like this is Lifecoach's game here. It's got to be some serious slip-ups for that to change, I think.
Hex.
That's a Hex!
What? Oh, we saw that earlier, the Hex.
Wow.
Weird stuff, man. But, I mean...
Looks pretty dead still.
Yeah. It, is inconsequential.
Yeah.
Oh! He had lethal anyways, but just to show the top deck, I like it.
All
Game
right.
number
Well,
3 in
Lifecoach
the books.
will not be swept today.
That's right. He's got to go through for the G2 boys because RDU lost in the losers. I don't know. I don't think it's the case if Lifecoach loses here, he has to face RDU, right? Or does he?
No. The loser of this match will be playing Firebat right afterwards. And then I believe after that, we will have Super JJ face off against RDU. So yeah, it was my mistake. I didn't quite know how the matchups were set,
Okay.
but it looks like they are coincidentally rigged against G2 playing against each other. It's good. Good for
And
them.
Archon as well. Huh. I mean, I think it's because those are the only 2 teams that have multiple members up. There's a lot of 1 member representatives, like Ostkaka's from Na'Vi, and actually no, that's not true. We have 2 Cloud9 members, but they happen to be on opposite side of the brackets as well. So it just seems like in general teams have been separated so that way they don't get team kills, which would be understandable because as much as it's cool to see preparation across the lineups, you don't want to face off against your teammate and just have the Dragon Priest play against each other.
Yeah, it is pretty disappointing. So it's good that is avoided.
Yep.
So far, though, G2 is definitely the team to catch up to. I mean, looking at the teamwork of things, and in this tournament more than most others, it seems to be a very relevant factor. G2 has stepped up their game. I don't believe any Archon players have actually qualified for the final day, and G2 might actually have 3, all of them.
Well, Amnesiac did qualify yesterday.
Oh, that's right. My mistake.
Yeah, yesterday we had Tice, Strife Crow, Amnesiac, and let me pull up the one final player. Trump qualified, so cool stuff all around. We had some really good matches yesterday, and today has been very fun so far. The winner of this goes on to day 3 to win up to $12,500. And honestly, I think now that we've identified a lot of what the current decks have with standard, I'm pretty excited to see the new coming cards of how it fits in.
I'm really excited to see Druid nerfed into the ground, personally.
You don't want to see Druid for a while?
Okay, I will rephrase my statement. I'm really excited to see, hopefully, the combo being nerfed into the ground.
Well, I mean, what if Druid's consistency of getting the combo is nerfed more than the combo itself? Because there are some ridiculous damage combos that exist in the game for similar amount of cards.
Yeah, it's just so the flexibility and the ability to ramp and all that stuff and the simplicity of the combo using cards that are also both good independently, which is generally not the case with other combos. I think overall pushes it a bit too much, and I think there's just no doubt about that, uh, based on the evidence that we see in this tournament.
Sure, sure. I'm not completely disagreeing with you. Just kind of trying to play the other side. Speaking of the other side, Priest has a pretty strong opening here with having the turn 1 Twilight Whelp. Again, the night and day difference between having a 1-drop and not. And then to follow it up, Crip, there is an Earthen Ring Farseer to bring back that Twilight Whelp and establish some board tempo. Again, being another huge MVP early on.
Yeah, certainly looks that way. Ooh, that also kind of works, but I feel that is more likely to be punished. I would prefer the Earthen Ring Farseer healing the Whelp and getting the attack in.
Yeah. You want to attack the Totem Golem or attack the face? Attack Totem Golem, right? So that way, whatever attacks, it trades really poorly in.
Maybe not, actually. Maybe attack face is the play. No, attack the Totem Golem. Yeah, attack the Totem Golem.
It'd be a 2/2, and there's not like... even if it had a juggle, which, because it has access to coin, it'd still be pretty awkward. So I think the 2/2 is still relevant enough to challenge everything, and yeah, I think that's definitely more appropriate. There is something to note that you can play the Wormrest Agent and the Hero Power next turn, so that's like pretty efficient. Although I didn't really notice you there. You can always play Twilight Guardian just for itself too. For some reason, I thought Twilight Guardian wouldn't activate.
There's a little bit of a punish here, but it isn't big. I think the coin Feral Spirits is probably the best you're gonna get, and killing off the 3/3, so your Feral Spirits are protected.
What to do?
Yep, your next turn you have 4 mana, so you can't play Doomhammer anyways, and then you can have Doomhammer ready, which is one of those really funny scenarios. Once again, we mentioned Harrison on a Doomhammer, only to be followed up by another Doomhammer. Do you have enough resources to stop Doomhammer number 2? But the thing is, if you kill a Doomhammer on curve, they can't Doomhammer the following turn because they'll be overloaded. So you do get ahead of that. Plus, the Harrison body is no joke. It can help you really control the state of the board and even raise.
Yeah, I didn't quite notice how doomed the Shamans are when that happens.
It's so devastating, but it's not impossible to win. I've seen people win from that position. Just one of the difficulties is that, again, Priest gets so many cards available to it that it doesn't matter what they really do on the board. They'll just have so many answers on the hand. But that was back when they have like a lot of AoEs that are more consistent. And, they have like Twilight Guardian, Valence Chosen, and make an Ancient of War, and you can't get through. Now it's a little bit different.
All right, well, here we go. It's going to be another set of tons of stats in the way.
Yeah. 5 mana, 14 stats.
I think this attack is probably worth making with the Whelp. Right, it just puts a dent that you're going to want in there. I mean, there's no way the Feral Spirit is going to attack a 3/5 and kill itself. It's either going to attack nothing or a 2-attack minion. I think you gain tempo by initiating the attack, in this case at least.
It's worse against Elemental Destruction, though, but that's about it.
Wow, you think that's what he's playing around? Oh man,
I don't.
The trauma is real.
I don't think so. That would be a little absurd at this point, because if your opponent Elemental Destruction, you still have board initiative. But it could be a factor. Is this the turn of Doomhammer? He doesn't have to. He can play Knife Juggler and Feral Spirits instead, but that limits him from playing Doomhammer for 2 turns, this turn and the next one.
Mm-hmm.
He also has 2 Doomhammers, so he might be considering that he has to start getting working eventually. If he Doomhammers, he can also get past the Wormrest agent with the weapon to preserve health on his minions, but that ultimately is moot because of the 3/5. So
Yeah, that's very poor. I think if you do use Doomhammer to do minion damage, you would only attack the 2/4 one time. I think you'd do the second attack with a 2/3.
Yep, completely fair in my books.
Yeah, with 2 Doomhammers, if you win, you know you're not going to end up with much health in the end.
Oh, he's playing around the Harrison. He knows what's coming. It's a possibility. He's going to use Feral Spirits and lock himself. And I guess he's just going to follow the Ancestral Knowledge train. He's going to use it next turn to try to draw some cards and get an opportunity to win the game. It seems like all these shamans in general, when they realize Harrison Jones is a real threat, they just don't play the Doomhammer.
Yeah.
They wait for the Rock Biter so that way they can get 16 damage in.
The repercussions of waiting are pretty big, though.
I must consider.
Yeah, by not playing it, well, first of all, like we said, you're not playing it next turn, but next turn you're also going to play Ancestral Knowledge, most likely, which means you only have 5 mana the following turn after that, which means that Doomhammer getting Harris, you won't even have the opportunity to use Rockbiter unless you somehow Lava Shock on 6 mana turn. It's a lot of like these mana plays and planning that requires the deck to make sure that you're not just autopiloting and just doing whatever all the time. You do have to be very cautious at times that you might gift yourself. There's one Rockbiter.
There's one Rockbiter, but if you play Ancestral Knowledge, you can't play the Rockbiter with the Doomhammer next turn.
Yeah. You can...
I like a Lightning Bolt, though.
Lightning Bolt the 3/2?
Yeah, Lightning Bolt on the 3/2 and get a easy trade on the 2/2. I like that.
Then you're at 4 mana. Huh. Just never play Doomhammer. Well, obviously not never. You have a chance to do it. But, you know, I think Ostkaka is going to set up, like, Doomhammer and then force a Harrison Jones, followed by a Doomhammer Rockbiter finish of some kind. I mean, that would be a pretty sneaky way to lethal your opponent. He also gets a Taunt Minion, which... Oh, never mind. He's not killing. He's not trading. Okay.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Yeah, he's looking at his hand. Is like, that's a lot of damage. I'm going for it.
Yeah. Priest's gonna start picking apart the trades. Wormrest Agent, Blackwing Technician, all of them heal. I mean, I love a lot of the plays here. I'll probably get the heal in, and I would also debate healing myself because
I think here you actually do play around Elemental Destruction. By the way, I think if you're ever traumatized by that card, right now is where you play around it a little bit.
By not playing the 3/5 or something or what.
I at least the Twilight Whelp. I think you have to heal instead of playing Twilight Whelp. It's just going to be a disaster once again.
I'll hit my own face. It's clear that he ignored a very easy trade for a board position to go face, so it might mean that his hand's very aggressive. And if so, then you just put yourself out of range. You get 21, sure, but it's still not the most safe thing in the world. And Lifecoach recognizes it, goes for the heal. Burn the rope all the way down.
Oh, God. All right. Well, Overload is a big problem this game for Ostkaka.
Yeah, if he had access to every mana...
Oh, and Lifecoach is jumping for joy now.
Is he? Let's see.
No, he's not jumping for joy. But he's jumping for joy on the inside.
Excitement. His eyes are opening wide. Hello, Harrison Jones. Yeah, it's pretty much from this point on, you're gonna be killing your opponent. You have 7, 10, and then next turn you just got lethal on board. Even heal yourself if you're super unsure of things.
I would definitely heal myself here, but I think I would put a Power Word Shield on the Azure Drake along with a heal, because with 2 Holy Smites, the Shaman's going to have to remove a lot of minions.
Playing around Elemental Destruction this way.
Oh, I see.
I like the heal yourself play. Again, he's interpreting his hands very aggressive. That is 5, 11, 15 damage. So if he kills the Drake, he thinks he's alive.
Yeah, but I mean, Ostkaka has to take this risk because he's so far behind, but it's obviously not going to work out, and he's going to get crushed by this completely full hand of Lifecoach.
It's just so nuts how big the Harrison makes this huge difference in this matchup. Without it, you're so vulnerable to the Doomhammer. You can't really stop whatsoever. All right, go to game number 5. Lifecoach once again being down 0-2. And he
Coming back pretty big.
And take it all the way, being a comeback kid. I don't know. It's one of those things where you look at the Warrior versus the Shaman, and we've seen one-sided games where the Shaman blew past that Warrior very quickly. But on paper, Warrior should be really good against handling the aggro, so...
It should be. It comes down to getting those few early game counter plays. Fiery War Axe being a great one. Alistair's champion being a great one. And I think Armor Smith and maybe a Cruel Task are the only missing ingredients here. I'm curious if Lifecoach will throw some of these back, though, because sometimes I've noticed a lot of these players look for very specific cards. So like, I wouldn't be too surprised to see him just keep the War Axe in order to maximize the chance to get like an Armor Smith. Because what the Fiery War Axe doesn't deal with are like 1 health garbage minions, and that's exactly what an Armor Smith would complement with.
Right, the Leopardome, for example. I mean, Alexstrasza's champion also can deal with some of those 1 health garbage, but it needs a dragon to activate.
Yeah.
Bash is also a reasonable keep. If you're going to coin 2/2, Bash gives you a 3-mana option to do something. So I guess the process of elimination is if you feel like trading 1 shield block is good enough to get a chance for a dragon, or if you want to get another dragon chance, you throw away Bash as well.
All right. Well, Leopardome comes down. Oh, no dragon.
I still think you coin Alexstrasza's champion, though.
It looks pretty good, but I mean, 1 damage from a Shaman is nothing. So I don't know if it's going to work so well.
1 damage from a Shaman?
Yeah.
What now?
Can you elaborate?
Well, we've seen a lot of like flame jugglers, and even if he plays the 2/3, it might just get lightning bolted. There's just a lot of bad stuff that can happen with that. And what I've noticed is when you make like a kind of like a greedy play like that and get punished, you're usually like blown out. The Leopardome is going to get 2 more damage, for instance, if that does happen. Like, I would not be surprised to see the Fiery War Axe here. I would also not be surprised to see it pass.
Fiery War Axe still has a lot better presence over whatever gets played next. I think the champion is good at absorbing the damage. And as such, on the Shaman side, you want to use the Totem Golem. Because you don't really want to use the Ancestral Knowledge till later stages of the game. You can also use Ancestral Knowledge next turn, because you have 2 mana, but you can't flip it the other way. You can't play Ancestral Knowledge and Totem Golem. So,
Let's see the draw. Oh, it's a dragon.
a little bit short, but it's okay. You just lose 2 health because of it. Damage on the extra attack damage is not really relevant for the champion. Equip the Fire War Axe. Would you hit the Totem Golem?
Oh my god. I feel like if you do that, it's like the beginning of the end.
It's not the beginning of the end. It just feels
Double
really bad.
Doomhammer again. Oh, that's horrible. It's as if Tunnel Trogs don't even exist for Ostkaka. Has he even seen one, like, anywhere?
That or he's playing more than 2 copies of Doomhammer. He draws both of them in the opening hand both games. That's pretty unlikely. Calculate that for me, Crip. Quickly.
7.35%.
And that is really unlikely.
I just completely made that up. I have no idea. I know that if you go first, the chance to get a specific card is like around 30. And going second, if you mulligan every card in order to get a specific card, it's a little bit over 40.
Right. They said it's a little under 50% to get Wild Growth on turn 2 if you're on the coin. So that sounds about right. You can bash this, keep your charge, or if not your charge, your champion up. I don't mind
like
that
the bash.
much.
Yeah, I like the bash a lot.
Because you're going to be playing turns 4, 5, 6. It's all mapped out for you.
Yeah.
You don't really need a guidance counselor for that. You've got your path to success all mapped out right in front of you. Let's do it. Show that totem golem who's boss, and start hitting the face with your own champion. And very soon, because your opponent spent his entire turn drawing cards and overloading, you also have the ability to start pressuring him because you have more minions and he has to respond to those minions because things like taunt are in the way.
This turn is so rough for Ostkaka. I really feel like the lead and the match is just slipping through Ostkaka's fingers on the back of horrible draws. Like what is he supposed to do here? I mean I guess that was answered very easily. Totem up and try to get the 1-1, which he did. Best case.
1-1's not bad in this scenario.
You don't want to Earth Shock a 2-1 minion. You can't draw because you have to play a Doomhammer. You have to play a Doomhammer because there's 2 of them in your hand again. Right? I mean, what do you do?
Okay, Sir Finley's not the worst either because you still, if you Doomhammer, you can't even do anything else this turn. You're not going to attack twice into that, so let's see what Sir Finley grabs too. See who's down for an adventure.
Wow, the shapeshift might be pretty good with the Doomhammers.
Yeah, I mean, you're going to be spending your mana on Doomhammers. And you have Ancestral Knowledge, so maybe the direct damage is better with the shapeshift.
Oh, and it's better now. He gets to kill the 2-1.
Oh yeah, you're right.
Threat off the board.
Not bad at all.
Yeah, that was very well played by Ostkaka.
Blackwing Corruptor, though, gonna definitely try to fight back on board. Would you spend the last charge of the weapon to kill off a small 1 attack?
Absolutely.
Oh, well, now you're the Weaponsmith, yeah. Makes a lot of sense.
Yeah, you need all the shaman's minions to go away.
Yep.
Minions are not allowed.
Well, no, shaman minions are allowed.
Okay, yeah.
Warrior minions are cool though. They're chill. Of course, Lifecoach not allowed to do anything for another 15 or 20 seconds or so.
Oh my god. This play is very easy, isn't it?
There is merit to a bash, I guess, but I think the Blackwing Corruptor is the better play by a big margin.
Yeah.
Just because Bash does the same thing as Blackwing Corruptor, but for 2 more mana, you get to develop a 5/4. So, all right.
Well, we know what time it is.
Let's get to work.
It's Doomhammering time. And next turn, it's draw Rockbiters right away time.
You have Ancestral Knowledge, which gives you the chance to draw the Rockbiters, maybe even 2 Rockbiters.
Actually, if he draws 2 Rockbiters and the Lightning Bolt, that's lethal.
So now here's something that Lifecoach will take his time evaluating. Should he bash to try to stay alive, or should he play Emperor Thorson? Thorson puts 12 damage onto the board. You do 7.
I don't think you... No, I think the Weaponsmith is better than the Emperor.
Weaponsmith?
Yeah, you get the armor up. And it pushes for 5 damage as well. I mean, you don't have more than 3 turns anyway. Who cares?
It's true, but it's, you still can die. Just have to be careful with, like, how much you're going. I do like this. It's halfway. It's between the safest and the most aggressive. So he has 6-11 damage right now.
He's one off lethal. Sorry, Lifecoach is one off lethal on the shaman.
Oh. I thought you're saying the shaman's one off. I guess you can also lava burst defensively and get 6 damage this turn. Another 12. Rockbiter.
There's one of them.
So close. Going for it?
Wow, maximum risk.
Wow. He's saying this is the best chance I have to win right now. 12 damage to the dome. 1 damage off lethal for Lifecoach.
And the most he can bounce up to is 10. And 10 damage is actually not enough.
Oh,
that's
goodness.
lethal. That's lethal.
Cool Taskmaster.
Lifecoach top decks lethal as the control warrior.
Wow. He's going to end Ostkaka's run here in the winner's bracket. The fastest turn that Lifecoach has taken all tournament long. It was exact lethal because we forgot the Druid armor. They gave it +1, so that ends up being the exact case. What a series for Lifecoach. For first of all, he had to delay to start things off with that madness, and then he had to come back from that. And then this series, he started
2
off
full recoveries.
He was making some pretty bad errors with the Blackwing Corruptor, but able to really stabilize and advance 3-2, technically undefeated in the winners bracket, which is also good news because then he avoids guys like Tice as well. So we'll see. Congratulations to Lifecoach.
Absolutely.
Hard fought.
Absolutely. Coming up, we will have Ostkaka playing once again. He'll be playing against Firebat, who did lose his opening game, but came through the losers bracket to go into the deciders match, which we are getting to here in just a few minutes. And right after that, we will have Super JJ versus RDU. These will be the final 2 games of the night, and the winner of each one will advance to the top 8 for tomorrow.
All right, guys. So we want to give a big shout out to our sponsors as well, to Geek Fuel, the Curse Network, to Hearthstone, and the Innkeeper deck manager thing that's going around. Just make sure to check that out. It's to help you guys sync your card collection, so that way you can continue to keep track of your decks as you're building them and whatnot. It's a cool, neat little tool. Check it out while we take a break, and when we come back, we're going to have our 7th match of the day to wrap things up. We're hopping to a lower bracket, so stay tuned.